All right. Well, welcome to this episode of Let's Talk Strategy. The concept for this is I bring on business owners and they are going to explain a little bit about their journey, kind of where they're heading in their business. And then I've asked them to pick one or two topics that they're willing to talk publicly about. And we're going to go ahead and dig in and talk strategy. Like, here's some ideas that work. Here's some ideas that might work for you. Here's some clear action items and takeaways. These are some of the conversations I have with my clients on a regular basis. And my goal is to make that available to the rest of you so that you guys can get some clear takeaways or maybe some things that are relatable, because so often I've heard like, hey, my business is different, or you just don't understand. But at the end of the day, 80% of business is identical. The best practices are best practices, and the 20% is directly relatable to maybe your industry or your style, your location. As always, make sure to go down below this video, comment, like, subscribe, make sure that you're staying tuned. We're always pushing new content out. The links for every guest will be below as well, so you can connect with them and hit them up if you resonate with something here. Maybe you want to collaborate on something or talking about something. So let's jump into this episode of Let's Talk Strategy. So with me today, I have Brandon Thompson. Brandon, brother, I appreciate you being on. Let's jump straight in. Why don't you let everyone know who you are and what you do?
Yeah, Dev, I'm on. Thanks for having me on. I'm super excited to be on today, man. And a little bit about me is obviously you see my name's Brandon Thompson, and I'm actually in the financial service business. And so I work with a company. It's WFG/Transamerica. And some things that we're just really big on is educating people when it comes to finances. We do life insurance, long-term care, investments, things of that nature. And like I said, one thing that I really feel that separates us apart is that we're very big on financial education up front, getting to know our people, and then just seeing what we can do to get their financial situation into a better place.
Love it, man. So I always like to understand backstory, right? It kind of frames our journey as a business owner. So what did you do before you got into finances?
Yeah, awesome question. And so it's funny. So I grew up with both of my parents, and there's nothing wrong with it at all, but both of my parents were employees, and so I just grew up with the mindset of just, work a job 40 hours a week, get your paycheck, call it good every 2 weeks. And so my prior career, I was a police officer. So I used to be a cop out here at Reno RPD. Really enjoyed my time there. Met a lot of great people, and really enjoyed the career. But it was just something. I was there for about 3 years, and this opportunity was brought to my attention. And it was just something that I was just like, man, like being like an entrepreneur, like going into that route, it was something that totally freaked me out. But it was just at the time when I made the jump, I was dating. She was my girlfriend then. She's my now wife. But I was dating. We didn't have kids. And I was just like, man, like, let me just, if there's no better time than now to try to give this thing a shot. And so I left my police career, jumped on board with our company. I've been full-time now for about 4.5 years, been with the company about 5 years. And it's something that was just my journey. And one thing that I love is I love business. I love entrepreneurship. I was just a regular, everyday, average person before I decided to make this jump. And it's just something that continued to work out. And I'm really enjoying it, man.
I love that, man. And I appreciate and I love hearing the backstory, right? Everyone you talk to is going to have a different journey, right? And it was awesome because I know like we knew each other in high school, then ran into each other in college, and then like didn't do any business. And then all of a sudden, like we ran back into each other, we do business. And I mean, full transparency, Brandon and I work out together, 4 days a week. We have an amazing friendship, which is part of the friendship circle and the value of the network. But we both took two totally different journeys into entrepreneurship. And that first jump, man, that's scary. Like it's scary to like get rid of that security, right?
Man, so scary, Devin. And like you said, I remember, and I feel like every entrepreneur goes through it, but I just remember I made the jump in like a month and a half in, 2 months in, like it's entrepreneurship. So business wasn't really going that way, right? In the beginning. And I just remember I was just like, man, like, did I make the right decision? I was freaking out a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And but it's just kind of funny how it just all works out. I just actually had one of my good buddies go full-time in business as well. And it's something that like I know that jump is it's uncomfortable, but it's just one thing that I learned in entrepreneurship is that like you're never gonna grow to your full potential in your comfort zone. Like things don't ever get great or become what they can to their highest potential if they're just if they don't get out, like become uncomfortable. And so it's just something that now in my time, I've just learned that like when I get that feeling, when I get that little nervous, that like keep going that route, it's because I just feel like there's good things on the other side of it, you know?
Well, and I love that, right? Like entrepreneurship's not for everybody, but if you think it's for you, it's an amazing experience. It'll test everything inside of you, but it can bring out everything inside of you as well, right? So it's got the best of all of it, and it's damn sure a journey. So I love that. So you're four and a
You're
half.
so right. I always say, yeah, sorry,
No,
man.
go ahead, bud. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, I always just say with entrepreneurship that like if people are willing to do it, like business will break you down, but build you back into the version of yourself that I feel like you're truly supposed to be.
Yeah, you could be.
And
right?
like I said, I really feel it'll test you to do all that. And I just feel like in the end, I feel like everybody that's willing to go through it is thankful and excited about the person that they became in the process.
I love it, man. So you're 4.5 years in, right? Or 5 years in, right? 4.5 years full time.
Yep.
And you've been up, you've been down, you've got some revenue coming in. Congrats on the house, congrats on the baby coming. So you're kind of settling into that family dad life too. If you look at your business, like where are you taking your business in the next 3 to 5 years? What are a couple like big goals that you're willing to go ahead and share with everybody?
Yeah. Something that, like I said, is we got a lot of good things going on right now. One thing that's big, it's like one thing that I would say with everybody is like when you're like setting your goals and things, I feel like it's something that you just got to think like way bigger. And what I mean by that is that I just remember like when I left my police career, I was just like, man, if I can make 6 figures and move into a house in the hills, like, and I was like, I don't know how long this is going to take me, but if it took 10 years, 15 years, and that was like, that would be it. Right. And it's crazy because like in a few like short 4 years, that's like, we're doing that and some, you know what I mean? And so it's something that in that process, it showed me like, man, you just got to like think bigger. And so some goals that we have, like I said, in the next 3 to 5 years is that one big thing that we're looking to have is a minimum of 500 licensed agents within our organization. And one thing that's big with our team is that we are able to be in all 50 states, Canada and Puerto Rico. So it's just something that's just however big we want to build it. And also within that time too, just having about $3 million of revenue. That's just something coming into the organization. That's a goal that we have within the next 3 to 5 years. And it's something that I definitely think is attainable and something that we're shooting after right now.
Love it, man. And I love that you reference the goal setting, right? Because, you know, I remember it, and I tell this story because I think it's relatable, and maybe this will relate to someone watching this, right? Like I remember my dream, I wanted to own a Mini Cooper, right? As a kid, I had it on the background on my desktop on my computer, right? I still have dreams on the desktop of my computer. I think if you're going to open your computer up, it should inspire you every day. So I like to have vacations there or things we're trying to chase. And, you know, I had that Mini Cooper. I remember buying the first one, right? Like I had bought one car and this was like my second purchase of a car. And I was like super stoked because it was exactly what I wanted, right? I bought it off the showroom floor. It was amazing, right? I remember calling my mentor, my coach then and be like, hey, check out what I did. Like so stoked. And like he celebrated in that moment with me. And then he said, and I remember it, fantastic, what's next? And this is on the same call, bro. Like I'm sitting here like trying to celebrate. And he said, fantastic, what's next? And it like really retrained the way I think about goal setting, because we need attainable goals that we can like punch off on a daily, monthly, weekly, yearly basis. But we need some things that like really make us uncomfortable and we don't really know how to get there, right? Like we're kind of like confused, but we know it's attainable. And I think that having those goals, like that's what's going to make you get creative. That's what's going to make you like try things you wouldn't have tried because there's no clear path, right? Like you probably don't have a direct, clear path between today and a $3 million organization.
No. And you know, and you're so right. And something that I love with what you said though, man, is that it's like getting around the right associations and the right people that are going to force you to think bigger. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like it sounds like what your mentor did, to where it's like, if we're like, there's like some circles and some versions of like people that we hang around with. So like where we may be in life for all of us, like right now, like they're like great, congratulations, like, you know what I'm saying? But then like you have that other group that is just like, okay, like what's next? What are you pushing for next? And really stretching you to become the best version of yourself. Because it's like one thing that I feel like is a big thing for all people, work wise, business wise, relationship wise, everything is like getting comfortable is like, I feel like one of the worst things that I feel like people can do. One thing that I think is it's great to be grateful and thankful for everything that we all do have, but like getting comfortable and not having that next thing to push after is that's scary, I feel
That's
like.
scary. That's the word I was going to use. That's a scary moment, right? For sure.
Yes.
So what do
Yes.
you see if we identify? So we've identified kind of your background, where you're at, where you're living. Again, congrats on the success and growth. It's awesome to see that journey. We can see
Thanks.
where you're trying to head. What are one or two challenges that you are actively dealing with that are either stalling or sidetracking your ability to run to that goal?
Yeah. Something that I feel like for us and just with our organization, two things that I think are big is one thing that I'm looking to continue to build my leadership skills and motivation and pushing skills while I'm with the team. Because one thing that I think is big is like you know, like when I feel like guys like Devin and like myself and just other people to where it's like you show me what the goal is and I'll figure out like how to get there, right? You know what I'm saying? And so it's one thing to where like as you continue to build, like you learn that just everybody may not be like you. And there's something that I feel like that's big is like you don't want everybody to be like you. And so figuring out ways to like build leadership skills and being able to talk to people in their language and things that'll be able to get people to move to the next levels. That's something that I'm looking to continue to get better with as a leader and grow. And one other thing too is with our team is that we're able to be able to build an agency. And one thing that I love is that so recruiting. And so one thing that I love with it as well is that we all have the same opportunities. And so it's like for me and my wife, we're brokers in our business. And everybody that we bring onto the team, our goal is to get them to a broker contract as fast as possible and help build an agency for them and help develop people and be able to grow from there. And so those are two things that I feel like that we need to continue to work on and that are holes that we can continue to get better at and continue to be able to get after those goals, you know?
I love that, man. Well, let's talk leadership first, because I think that's a big topic, and I think there's some really interesting pieces in there, though. So when you talk about leadership, do you think that it's the ability to motivate the people you're working with to take action? Is it being receptive to like the challenges and shit they're throwing at you? Is it inspiration? Like what part of being a good leader like would be the most beneficial for you?
Yeah, it's a good question. One that I feel like one thing that I've learned is and to answer that question, what I would say is figuring out a way to be able to transfer skills. And like I feel like transferring skills is one of the biggest things that like is the quickest way to like be able to help somebody, but also to be able to reach team goals as a whole. And what I mean by that is that it's just like I don't want anybody on our team to have to go through whatever struggles it was that we had in the beginning, right? And so what it is to where it's like being able to say, okay, like we tried this route, we hit a wall, it didn't work out. Then we went this way and this worked out for us. And so I would advise you to do A, B, and C, and hopefully you'll be able to get that same better result instead of having to go the wrong way. And so I feel like a big part of leadership is to be able to obviously inspire, but to be able to like transfer skills to help people to get better results, you know?
Okay, perfect. So let's talk through a couple bullet points there and just some ideas, things that I think like if you are listening to this and this resonates with you, right? So if you've got a team you're trying to guide, lead, motivate, right? Here's some ideas. Here's things that maybe you've tried, maybe you haven't tried. And it's the same with Brandon. Like, I don't know what Brandon's tried. So as a consultant, all I can do is say, hey, here's some ideas. And then if one of those ideas resonates, maybe we dig into it. Obviously, if you're listening, I can't do that with you, but I'm happy to do a session like this with you, right? So the first thing I find when I'm working with anyone who's trying to get more out of life, right? So if someone is committed to launching a business, partnering with an organization, growing, they've made some sort of mental commitment, right? Which everyone on your team has. And most employees have made a similar commitment, right? They've decided that, you know, I want this job because I can further my career or something like that. Did we lose you, B?
Man, yeah, we're good. We're good. We're still here. Yep.
Okay.
Are you? Yeah, we're good. Yeah,
Perfect.
can you hear me?
Yeah. You're
All
good.
right.
So I
Keep
think
going.
what's awesome, right? Like, is your employees have made a decision to be on the team. In Brandon's case, these people have all made a decision to step out because they want more. So we know that there's a level of action and inspiration built into these people already, right? And I see that with a lot of business owners. However, here's where I see a huge gap in production, right? So the ability for people to produce results. So the first part of it is alignment. And I think so often we set business goals that don't clearly align with our personal goals. And it's interesting, I was talking to a new client yesterday, and I'm really excited to work with this person. But one thing we were talking about is how he said, yo, the personal stuff probably doesn't relate, right? And I said, actually, the personal stuff relates more than you could even imagine. So the first activity I would recommend if you're trying to inspire somebody is an activity where you do what I did with Brandon, but in a different way. So here's exactly what I like to do with people. The first thing I like to do is I said, let's go ahead and align on your personal goals. And I want to hit these categories. So first, what's your income you need to make to live? Right? So this is not a dream income, and this damn sure isn't even like a stretch income. This is the like, are you clear enough on your actual tangible monthly expenses to tell me what it's going to take to live, right? And that number is different for everybody, right? You may already have a house, you may be a college kid, you may be married with 5 kids, right? So the answer there is different. So the first number I want is, what's that like you can live number, right? I'll put that up on the whiteboard here. You know, it's $5,000. Okay, cool. What's that number that allows you to live with a little bit of extras, right? So maybe you could take a vacation, you're not going to stress, you could sleep at night, right? So in that case, like if it was first answer is $5,000, it might be $7,500 a month. Okay, great, fair. And again, I don't care what your answer is, it's your answer. It has to be something you're comfortable with. And then I say, what's that stretch goal where like, if you were bringing in this amount of income a month, where you feel like you would be on top of the world, or you'd have some more options, or you could really hit the stuff you want. And maybe that goal is $10,000 a month. A lot of people, $10,000 a month is a very relatable goal. So if that was what you said, great. So now we've identified the income bucket, right? Mm-hmm. Cool. So now what are the tangible things that you're working to achieve, right? So obviously you want to increase your income. What are the physical items you're working to achieve? Do you own a house today? Do you want to buy a house? Yes, you want to buy a house. Okay. Have you gone through the activity to figure out what it's going to take to buy a house? As a first-time buyer, how much do you need down? How much house can you qualify? What kind of income do you need to buy a house? If you don't know the answer, then the first action item I would give you if I was leading you is I would tell you to talk to a mortgage lender and build a plan to buy a house. Because if you don't have a plan and know how to get there, then buying a house isn't real enough for you yet for me to motivate you to buy a house. Next, is there a car? Maybe your car is not as reliable as you want. I can tell you, owning a nice car, and when I say nice, I'm not talking a Ferrari, Lamborghini. I'm talking a car that's dependable, gets you from point A to point B. Maybe you've got the service contract on it and you know it's taken care of. Like, that feels good mentally. If that inspires you and you want a car that does that, okay, well then what's that car cost? And if you don't know the answer, then you need to go to CarMax. You need to go somewhere where they got a bunch of cars. You need to go look, you need to take pictures. You need to know the freaking price. You need to know exactly what it's going to take for you to buy that car. Do you need money down, and what's your monthly payment? And I need it to be real. Right now, if that didn't resonate with you, no worries. But maybe you're dreaming of a truck so you can haul your toys, right? What's that look like? What's the price point, right? So we've got income. Now I want to talk about the physical assets. You want a house, you want a car, you want toys. What are the things you want to buy? Do you want a nice watch? Maybe you're dreaming of some, like cool smartwatch or a Rolex. Like it's your dream, not mine. I can tell you yes or no on all these things, but it doesn't matter. It's your dream. So income, assets. Next, I like to talk about time. Like, what are you working for time-wise? Do you want to spend more time with your family? Are you willing to slave away at work and put in all these hours? Like, let's make sure we're aligned on that, because we don't want to build a business that outpaces our willingness to work.
Yep.
Next, I want to talk about health. Do we have a strategy built in there for how we're going to eat, how we're going to sleep, and how we're going to work out, right? And if we don't, we need to allocate time for that. A lot of us, when we get into entrepreneurship or our careers, that's usually the first bucket that falls off, right? I was there too. I promise, when I started my marketing agency, I had a good friend of mine at an event look at me and say, "Holy shit, you're fat." And it was a wake-up call. Like, and you need guys like that. So if you're hearing this and it makes you uncomfortable, like, maybe that's something we need to work on as a goal, is we need to create an income and a business and a lifestyle that allow us to have the gym time, the healthy eating habits, the family time, right? So let's make sure that that's in there. And I like to talk about vacations. So, do you want to travel? Do you not want to travel? And if you want to travel, where? And the idea here is, how clear can we get on that? Oh, I want to go to Disney World. Okay. What's the hotel cost? What's the airfare cost? How much are tickets? How much are you going to spend on food, and how much you want to spend on the stuff there? Is that a $1,000 trip or is that a $12,000 trip? I need to know. You need to know. And this starts to make people uncomfortable, because you're asking them to go explore things they can't acquire today, which is an awkward conversation, right? It's window shopping in every category of your life. However, I need you to window shop because I need the tangible numbers, and so do you. Because if you come back to me and say, "Hey, Devin, you know what? After having this personal alignment conversation, right? Here's the things that matter the most," right? And we go through those categories, and everyone's going to have a different category that hits, right? So like, money might be a big motivator right now. And at some point it may not. Like, it may just become something where you're like, "Hey, I want to tick it up," but it's not as important. Right now, traveling's more important, right? That will then allow you to set correct business goals. I see, and this is why I started with the personal, because often I see people have personal goals and business goals that don't align to any sort of degree, right? So if you tell me, let's just use income because it's the easy one, right? Let's say you want to make 10 grand a month. That was your stretch goal, and that's where you're working towards, right? So we translate that to your business, and I go, "Okay, cool. How much money does your business have to make for you to make 10 grand a month?" And you go, 10 grand a month. And I go, "Cool. You have no clue how this works." Because there's inherent cost to businesses. There's insurances, there's licenses, there's dinners, there's marketing, there's hardware, software, computers, there's taxes, there's all sorts of stuff. So given your industry or your career, we then have to take that and build a true goal. So if your goal is to make $10,000 a month, we need to translate that to now the business bucket. And the business bucket typically starts with some sort of revenue, because that's how business runs, right? So we look at your business, say, if you want to make 10 grand a month, and we can estimate your costs. So let's say that if Brandon writes 15,000 in business, or like gross receivables, right? So he's gonna have to write exponentially more in the financial world, like 150, 200,000 in new accounts, right? If that's what you're writing and it's 15 grand, and 15 grand shakes out to you being able to take home 10, fantastic. So now we have a true business goal of 15 grand, right? Or whatever that translates to align with your personal goal, right? And then we can start building a plan for you that gets you from point A to point B, right? So if today you're making $1,000 a month, the goal is to make 10,000, that's attainable. Everything's attainable with time and money and work, right? It's fine. So if that's the goal, and now we've identified that, and you need to write 15,000 in business for Brandon's, or you need gross receivables of 15. So B, in this case, if you needed to make 15, how many cases is that you would probably need to write to make 15 G's this month?
That would, to make 15 G's for the whole business.
Yep.
That would be probably, so for us, we go like premium. And so that would be like $1,200 in premium on the insurance side. And so like that can be broken down to where if I have 6 people that save $200 a month, or if I have 4 that saves $300 a month, that'll be about $15,000.
Perfect. So you would have to write that amount of new business to make 15 G's. So then what we would do with that person we're trying to motivate or lead is, and this is what I would do with every team member, and I do this with every employee. I go through this exact process, right? I want to know all of your personal goals and understand what you're trying to achieve. I want to align your business or career goals to match that. And then I want to create a plan to get there. So now in this case, B's told me, hey, we need 4 clients. So let's just say it's 4. I need 4 clients at the average client size to make that kind of money. And I need them to close and underwrite every month, which means I probably need 6 clients in reality, because some are going to carry over to the next month. So if I need 6 clients, we now work back through your sales cycle, right? So if I have 6 clients, how many proposals or bids or contracts do I have to send out to get 6? Let's say it's 50% of people actually sign up. So I need 12 contracts out. If I need 12 contracts out, how many first discovery alignment meetings, whatever freaking term works in your industry, do I need to have to be able to send a contract out? Let's say it's 25%. So let's say that now out of the 4 to 8, or well, we said 6 to 12, right? So now it's going to be 48. So I need to have 48 first meetings, right, to generate 6 pieces of business. If that's the number, right, we now work that into a week, right? So there's 4 weeks. Okay, so we need 12 meetings a week, right? There's 5 days. So I need you to have 2.5 meetings a day. That's a stupid goal. So I'd rather you overshoot. So we do 3 meetings a day. So now, in order for you to succeed and hit the dream that you just built, not my dream, the dream you built, I need you to do 3 meetings a day or 15 meetings a week. Is that doable?
Yes. Yes.
Right? And if the answer is no with the person you're coaching, now we have a coachable moment, right? Now let's talk about, to your point, the duplicatable strategies that help this person get to that activity level. And everybody's activity level is different, right? Because you can give them the proven metrics. Like, hey, I know that it's 50% and 25% or whatever those cuts are for first meetings to proposals to contract to close. Every industry is different, right? So you'll know your numbers. That's a leadership moment you can teach your team. Everyone's goal, 3 meetings a week or 3 meetings a day would be useless for everybody, because maybe someone's goal is only to make $1,000 a month because they're just trying to offset or have some secondary income, which I think is a great thing, especially in your industry. That's part of the motive to being in the industry, is generating side income, right? So if $1,000 is the goal, then we could factor all that back to like, oh, that's 2 cases. Well, if it's 2 cases, it's 4, and then it's 8. And then like, again, it's not, the numbers aren't as big. So we want to make sure that that activity aligns with the personal goal, that aligns with the person's dream. If we do that correctly, we then can be leaders in guiding them to the activity they understand is going to equal the results they're trying to chase, right?
Yes.
So I walk through this word vomit of activity because this is exactly what I see when I hear people say like, hey, I want to be a better leader. I always go back to like, well, how well are you aligned with your team, and how well is your team aligned with their personal to professional goals? And most of the time, that's where I find the best ability to generate activity. Because if we can get your team or your employees better aligned with their personal goals, translate that to the business world and build a plan from that, we now have clearly built a plan that aligns with their mission, vision, values, and dreams. And now we can motivate, lead, and inspire around that, right? I can hold you accountable to it because we've agreed on it together. I can build a plan that shows you how to do that. Yeah, I can, as a salesperson, I give you tips and tricks to booking meetings all day. Like if you think 3 meetings a day is hard, no worries, I have a plan for that, right? But now at least we're aligned. So to your first point, D, again, and you may do some or all this stuff, like this is what I would start with someone where I'm like, look, I want to lead, and I want to lead in an exponential way. This is the activity I would do with my team, because as you work your team through this activity, it then becomes duplicatable. They then, when they onboard new agents, this is how they should onboard them. Like, hey, let's go through your personal income goals, right? Living, next level, stretch. Let's go through vacations and assets and all these different buckets. Which ones align with you today? And I like to go through that activity at least once a year with my team to see where are they at in getting it? What's changed? Do they have things that are different? Do they need more time off? Which means maybe they need some more agents, so they're duplicating their income, right? So we do that. Then we teach them through the business, right? How do we scale up the business to generate those kind of results? Then we build the activity framework and we train and lead and inspire to that.
Dev, I'm gonna be so honest with you, man, that like you should see I'm writing with a red pen right now, and I literally have like pages of notes from just everything that you went over. But one thing that's big, because like I said, this is like an honest conversation and things to where it's like these are things that I haven't done as much with my team as I feel like I should. And it's something to where it's just like I like talk sometimes and just like, hey, like this is a goal, like this is what you need, but it's like really individualizing it to that one person and being able to do it that way and having that relationship from that standpoint. And so I think that this is like a huge activity that I'll definitely be scheduling up times with my agents individually and being able to just sit and do this, because it's I feel like it's going to continue to make it more real to them and give them some attainable things to be able to go after. And one thing that I think was big that you talked about is reverse engineering it, because it's something that is so big to where it's like when you think of like this big number, whether it's 48 or whatever it is, but then when you break it down to where you're like, man, that's 2 or 3 appointments a day, you know what I'm saying? Then people are like, oh, like, yeah, I can totally do that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's totally doable rather than thinking of 48. And so I like the way that you broke that down too.
I love that, brother. And I'm glad to hear you taking notes. I mean, that's the point of it. I'm taking notes. As B was talking earlier, I'm taking notes on his strategy. I've got another notepad over here with like where he's trying to go and what he's trying to do. So like that's a good takeaway too. But like, I love this activity. It sounds like for you, a really good action item. That's where I was going to go is, let's get you meeting with all of your team members, have that personal to professional conversation, really spend that time digging in and help them understand their true peer goals that are tangible, relatable. And their first action items for that team member might be, to my point, on the house, right? Like if you want to own a house, talk to the mortgage lender, talk to a realtor, go look at some houses, go walk through model homes, figure out what you want, make the shit real, right? Then we actually can chase something, right? And then to the other side of it, like when we get to the other end, and now B, you're going to be working with your team and you're like, awesome, we've done that. Now we're working on the goal. Here's something when you're in sales, I want you to remember it. And I've had this conversation with good friends. I have this with most of my clients at some point. In sales, I want you to control what you can control, okay? Most sales coaches and most sales things you're gonna read set some sort of quota goal, right? Like I need you to close at 15,000 to get this, right? What I like to do is understand the average and how many clients that is, reverse engineer it like we just talked about to 3 meetings a day. From 3 meetings a day, I probably need to have 9 contacts to book 3 meetings. So that scales out to this like exponential number where it's like maybe I need 120 people in my database to be able to book that amount of meetings. I want you to focus your time, energy, and effort on the activities on the front end you can control, right? So if we start really early in sales, you're going to go out and network and create leads, right? You're going to get business cards and follow up with people. Now, the activity there is you can go to the event. You can control that, right? You can't control how many other people show up. You can control you showing up. You can't control how many business cards or good conversations you get there. Can't control it, right? Now, you're going to get a certain number, and in order to hit some goal, you're going to need a number. However, I think setting a number on an event you don't control is really irrelevant, right? I think that your goal is I'm going to show up to this event, I'm going to have great relationships, and I'm going to meet everybody, right? Then you're going to get your business cards. The other thing you can control is you can follow up with every business card you got, because we should never judge a prospect early in the process. We could go into that for days, but just please meet with everybody and stop prejudging. So we're going to put everyone in the process. I can control how I follow up, the frequency, and how I communicate in a way that's comfortable and relatable and adds value to you. I can't control whether you show up to a meeting. So me getting emotional, whether you no-show me or reschedule, is irrelevant. Like that's stupid. What I can control is if you cancel on me or need to reschedule, I will follow up with you until you tell me to F off or you book another meeting with me.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I can control that. Now in the meeting, I can control the tempo of the meeting, the information transferred in the meeting, and how the meeting goes. I can control that. I can't control your participation, but I can ask enough questions that will make you participate. I can then control the follow-up from the meeting. How much value do I add? How many connections do I make? And how do I make you feel? I can control that. How you reply, respond, and what action you take, can't control, right? I can control the things that allow me to produce the potential for the best results. right?
Yes.
Maybe I book a discovery meeting. I have great information. I send you a proposal. I work you through the process. I can control how fast I send you a proposal, how elegant I send it to you, and how well I explain it to you. I can't control your ability to make the decision. So us as salespeople getting emotional on the size of the deal is irrelevant. If we create enough volume, it doesn't matter. You'll hit the goal, right? But I can't get emotional whether I win or lose because it's all just a numbers game. What I can control is, am I sending out enough deals in an eloquent way that makes you really want to do business with me, that creates the potential for me to have success? So I share that kind of journey with you because so often we get stuck in the emotions of the process. And well, what's this person thinking? What were they not thinking? Man, you don't know. And how dare you try to put words in their mouth or think about it? Control what you can control, how you show up, how you act, how you follow through the things you do. Control that and control it in a way that matches the activity needed to generate the results. And I promise you, you'll do more sales tomorrow than you did the day before. So that's where we'll leave. I know we're getting close to our time, but I think that would be my other piece of advice for you guys. And like, if anything, take that one segment right there and just share that with your team, share that with anyone you're trying to motivate. Like, guys, stop getting in your head and just control what you can control. People are going to be people. I can control me. That's it. And in sales, if I go into it with that intent, I win. And if that's aligned with my business goals, which are broken down, which relates to my personal goals, which motivates, inspires, and aligns me, now we've got leadership, now we've got fire, and now we're conquering the world and slaying dragons.
You know what's so awesome with what you said, Devin, is like there is so much inside of what you just went over, man. And I think that's so big, and a lot of people don't know that when it does come to business. I know for me, it's something that I definitely had to learn. But I just had this conversation with one of my agents today, man, and he was telling me, he was just like, Brandon, like, I feel like I need to change like the way that I'm saying things or this and that. And like, he's just going through like a streak to where he's just not closing deals. And this is a guy that is like closed deals, recruited people, been on top, did all this. And I told him, I said, man, we can look in doing some things, but I was just like, just remember that you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person. And like, it's one of those things that I truly feel like once I started living by that in my business, to where it's like you said, it takes that emotion away from it, because it's something to where it can be so easily to like let that emotion come in and all that. But when you believe it that way and follow it, just like everything that you just said, I think that it helps out a lot.
I love that, brother. Well, you've got some clear action items. I think there was some value in there. I think there's a ton of value for everyone who's been watching this. Hopefully there's some great takeaways. That's the point. If you're interested in a Let's Talk strategy session, it'll look just like this. We'll spend 30 minutes-ish talking about your journey, your experience, and a couple challenges you're facing. I'll throw some ideas at you. Sometimes they'll be great, sometimes they won't. But at the end of the day, hopefully this resonates with at least one person. If today Brandon and I can inspire you to do one thing better tomorrow than you did today, that's all that matters. And I hope that you'll share this, pass it on, and inspire someone else around you. Brandon, I appreciate you coming on this. This is not an easy ask. It's not easy to ask someone to open up and be willing and honest in the conversation. So I appreciate that. You've always been humble and a great leader, brother. And if you want to get in touch with Brandon, his information will be below this. You guys should sync up. Obviously, he's growing a big team. He's looking to build relationships nationally. He's a great networker. If you want to connect with him, please do so. Like I said, if you want to talk strategy, hit me up. We can talk about being a client. We could do a strategy session, or if you're willing to hit record, we'll hop on and do a video. So Brandon, thanks for the time, brother. And look forward to getting out and spending more time with you.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot, Devin. I appreciate it.